Hello everyone and welcome to another history video. So today we're taking a look at Estrid's Invocation Liquor deck in history format. So we tried this deck before in this channel, but the reason why we're trying it today is because in the Edge of Eternity set, we got a pretty sweet card called Seam Rip, which is a 1-mana enchantment that lets you exile any target non-land permanent on the battlefield with mana value 2 or less until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. So in a deck with Estrid's Invocation, which can just copy any enchantment on the battlefield, this is really good because you can just keep copying the Seam Rip, exile something every single turn. But of course, if something is underneath the Seam Rip, that is going to spit the creature out, and that is where the Containment Priest comes in. So the Containment Priest actually got better in this deck. Last time we had the Containment Priest because we had Felia, and we also had Fragment Reality, which the Containment Priest also denies as well. So now, the Containment Priest actually has synergy between more cards now because of Seam Rip. We have Fragment Reality, Seam Rip, and Felia together. So even though it looks kind of weird that we are main decking 4 Caps of Containment Priest, this is actually one of the greatest cards for this deck. And currently in the metagame, there's a lot of creature decks, such as Aura, Wizards, Boros Energy, and we have a lot of good flicker targets such as Nowhere to Run, which is something that you can copy over and over again with the Estrid's Invocation. And you also have a Momentum Breaker, which makes your opponent sacrifice a creature, which is actually really good against Aura decks. And it also has a bonus text: if opponent can't sacrifice a creature, opponent also has to discard a card. So Momentum Breaker is an excellent blink target for the Felia and the Estrid's Invocation. And even against like an Eldrazi deck, we have Consigned to Memory, we have White Orchid Phantom that we can constantly flicker with the Felia, so it should be pretty good. So having said that, I'm going to be hopping over to some History Base of 3 to show you guys what the deck does. So let's hop over. Alright, let's try this deck. Double Starting Town. Yeah, we're going to be taking a lot of damage here. We'll see what opponent's playing. Yeah, we're taking a bit of damage. I hope we draw non-ouch land. Yeah, we're playing against Aura. Aura decks here. Esper Sentinel. Okay. Play the Felia. We are going to play the Containment Priest. Yeah, I think so. Let's actually attack first. They could have that one spell like protects a card. And we're gonna flash in a Containment Priest. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Insane. Alright, we're gonna do the same thing. Actually, then my Felia dies though. I guess we'll just play Momentum Breaker then. Excellent. Light Paw. Pretty good. Sheltered by the ghost. Do I want to seam rip? I could seam rip. Actually, yeah, I probably have to fragment reality the shelter by the ghost. And then I'll seam rip the light paw here. By the way, we have taken 8 damage from the starting town, which is not ideal. We can't seem to draw a land either. Okay, I'm gonna just pass my turn. They do have a core spirit dancer in there, which is kind of annoying. If I just drew one land, we could Belia Thoughtseize here. Insane that this is even happening. Yeah, it's kind of insane that this is even happening here. We might actually lose this one. Ethereal armor. So they're gonna block the Felia though, right? I mean, they might not. They could sacrifice the Empt Raptor. Okay. So we're gonna have to look for, like, potentially a removal spell here. Okay, we found a Seam Rip. But it's a white. Oof. Maybe I should have shocked. Go to 4. Oh, I forgot to play a land. Oof. Are we dead? We'll see. Actually, this one gives you trample. We might be dead. Let's say I play the Watery Graves into Thoughtseize. It actually wouldn't have changed anything, because I would be taking 2 damage here. Alright, I probably have to block this. So let's see. So I think opponent might actually have another Shard Mage's Rescue. So I can Seam Rip the Empt Raptor. And maybe in response to the Seamrip coming down, the Shard Mage's rescue coming down, I can know where to run. And we'll blink this to draw a card. Another land. I don't think we're looking for a land right now. I think we're looking for more removal spells. Ampthraptor yet again. Yeah, that's actually pretty lucky. Well, well, well. We might actually lose this one. Just losing so much life. So sad. The starting town just dealt so much damage to me that, man. No, we lost. That's crazy. How did we lose this? I mean, for an Aura deck, they just kept playing a creature every single turn. Which is kind of unreal because they don't have that many creatures. Yeah, that was actually kind of insane, isn't it? Like, they just kept playing creatures after creatures non-stop. Also, we did get stuck on lands for way too long, which also didn't help either. It also didn't help the fact that the starting town at least did like 10 damage to us. So, there's also that as well. I mean, a lot of things went wrong that game, which was not ideal. No black source, but we have a triple Esper Sentinel, so hopefully that gets us there. Man, it's actually kind of crazy how many creatures they played every single turn, right? Like, it's actually kind of unreal. Like, look. It's not... They're an Aura deck. They don't have that many creatures. It's just... They got lucky. Opponent got lucky there. So what's going on? It seems like the game's a bit sluggish before I did that. Now it's fine. I think I kind of want to sequence my Felias a little bit later. I mean, I guess I can just get it back if I play the... If they play the Shelter by the Ghost. I could have played the Momentum Breaker also, but they're just going to discard the Sentinel and a land. I don't really want to reveal my cards yet. Okay, well, maybe this is a good time to play the Momentum Breaker. Wow, that's crazy. They didn't draw a creature every single turn. Again. I might still keep it because of the Esper Sentinel. Any black source? Nice. And then we have a Estrid's Invocation with the Momentum Breaker. This is so nice. I think we win. I mean, maybe. Like, even if they go land into exile one of our Estrid's Invocation, we have a Divine Purge for that. Smart. Looks like I do have to play a Divine Purge here, though. So I don't know how many copies of a cartouche they play. It's a pretty rare card nowadays. So good. Ooh, Felia. That's what I'm talking about. So I'll put a stop on my upkeep in case I want to Felia. In case I want to Omen copy. Okay, so they're gonna go with the Light Paw. Yeah, it looks like we're just going to be copying this. Into more lands. That's a lot of lands. Still not over yet because we can't seem to draw anything but lands. Okay, opponent gives up. They haven't seen our hand, but they're probably still dead. Either way, because of the Estrids. Alright, we're playing against Loris. Our hand isn't very good. I would say. It does depend on like what we draw though, but I mean technically the fact that we have like most of our cards are enchantment, maybe this is actually a decent hand. Like we're bound to draw an enchantment, right? Okay, that was so unexpected. That's crazy. I'm just gonna get rid of it. So we're playing against this kind of deck. I'm gonna let opponent trade. No, they're not biting. Okay. Any enchantments? No? Just lands? Okay. Okay, only lands. I see, I see. Any non-lands? Perhaps? No? Okay. Acceptable. Lurker right now would be absolutely insane. Hmm. Kind of hoping the Dark Confidant kills my opponent. So Loris does come out. Into a Cecil. Seems like they kind of might have something here. I'll take the 2. Wow. That's unfortunate. See if opponent blocks with the Loris here. They don't really see my hand. They might think I have something and block. Alright, so they did. Alright, I think we're probably dead unless we like top deck a Lurker in the deep or something. Omen's definitely a start. Into Containment Priest, which we don't really care about at the moment. Alright. Okay, so what did we learn? Don't draw lands. Do not draw lands. My opponent's thinking like, what the heck did I just play against? My opponent played lands into nothing. I'm not really sure if I even sideboard, though. Like, do we care about this Divine Purge? I think I'm just gonna try again. I think this is a good matchup. Yeah, we're gonna bottom Fragment Reality. Esper Sentinel, go. Interesting. Could just be a removal spell. Yeah, seems like it's just a removal spell. Dark Confidant. Into Last Ride. I'm going to seam rip the Last Ride. We're missing one blue. Yikes. I'll just play this right now so that it doesn't get discarded. Or countered. If this lurker came down last turn, we probably won the game. The Shadow. Alright, so... Sure. Esper Sentinel. Into a Loris. This is where it gets kind of tricky. What do we do with this? I think we just have to let this go, right? And top deck something like this. Okay, no, Momentum Breaker was a very nice draw because now we can copy the Momentum Breaker. Into another Last Ride. Now the problem is, that thing has a life gain. But I probably still have to do this. It's kind of risky though. Ooh, that is not good. Okay, we might lose here. Why didn't they draw with this, by the way? Oh, they have to pay 2 life. Well, opponent is at 1. Okay, my turn. Do it again. Okay, they're gonna crew into sacrificing the last ride. Interesting. They decided to sacrifice a stubborn denial. Okay. That was good. Stubborn denial. I mean, it makes sense. Should I have a Divine Purge because they play last ride? I don't know. I feel like our deck is probably really good against opponent. Yeah, this is an insane hand. Turn 1, Fragment Reality. Turn 2, Momentum Breaker. Turn 3, Estrid's Invocation. Very nice. Also, sorry if I'm... Sorry if you think I'm complaining a little bit too much here about the lands. I'll try not to do it too much. I know some folks don't really like when people talk about flooding too much. Perfectly understandable. Okay, so they're gonna take away the Estrid's Invocation here, which makes me a bit sad. More Thought Seizes. Think they might take away the Fragment Reality? No. Interesting. I mean, if you just get it again, doesn't matter, right? The classic Thoughtseize bug, right? I'm playing it out because Grixis has a kind of like a no way to get rid of an enchantment. Dark Confidant. Oh. That sucks. I misclicked and clicked the first main phase instead of the draw step. I'll just put it put a stop right now. The last ride. So I think I'm just going to fragment reality the last ride. Unless this is like a Dead Shadow they're playing. Yeah, I think I'll probably fragment reality the Death Shadow here. I'll play the Omen. I do need a clock, so maybe I'll top a Containment Priest. They're gonna pay 3, draw a card. Now we have a clock. Wait, what? Wait, this doesn't work. Because I had to... Oh, wow, I didn't even know that was the case. So if you play this without any enchantments, this never procs anymore. I didn't know that. Okay, well, I learned something. Oh, no way. No way you're attacking there. Maybe this is like a removal spell. Right, GG's. By the way, that scry was questionable because I thought... For some reason, I thought I was drawing there. Okay, this might be Eldrazi. No, it's not. We're going second. Our hand is... okay, actually, with the Felia plus a Containment Priest combo. It's okay. Well, Dotsie's here. So it's this kind of deck. This is kind of tough, actually. Going second against this deck. With the Guide of Soul start and double headliner is a bit bad. Into an amped Raptor as well. Okay, so it's looking kind of bad here. God of Soul's gonna fly. I'm actually so glad they played the land first. At least we're gonna be killing one of the headliners. Seam Rip is the best draw here? No? So I can go Containment Priest, Esper, Sentinel. The problem with attacking the Felia is the Ampthraptor just eats it. I could get rid of the Ampthraptor instead of the Guide of Soul, but I don't think that's a good idea. Not good. Of course, of course. Of course. Nowhere to run, but I'm dead either way, right? I shock, I have to block the Amped Raptor. Yeah, we're dead. Alright, Divine Purge. This is definitely a tough matchup because opponent goes wide so quick that things like the Momentum Breaker is often like not that great. A decent hand. Basically, kill everything on sight. That's basically the goal here.
Where shall we hunt today?
So we're gonna know where to run. Get rid of you. We'll probably Omen here. We're currently looking for Estrid's Invocation. We can seam rip this. Another seam rip. Maybe it's okay. Since I have another Omen here. We'll just seam rip the bombardment. Leave up an Omen. So they're gonna do that. Okay, Omen of Seas again. They might actually have another Fragment Reality, which is not great. Estra's Invocation. So what's the play here? A Seam Rip into Leap Up. Maybe I'm looking for a land. So I can go Seam Rip plus an Estra's Invocation here. So we're gonna Seam Rip again. And we're gonna Momentum Breaker. Okay, so looks like they are going to Johnny.
To the hunt.
Yeah, still not looking too hot right now. Like, we're definitely not in a good spot. Maybe I have to know where to, Invocation, get rid of the Loris, and then Fragment Reality the Ajani. Unless we top deck a Divine Purge, we probably lose this one. Actually, that's actually kind of insane that they got another Ampharaptor there, so they're gonna be able to make the Guide of Soul fly. Alright, so I'm just looking for Divine Purge now because I can't win with this Estrid loop. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Ask and you shall receive? Okay, maybe that's a sign to maybe put more copies of Divine Purge. Maybe that's a sign. Wouldn't you agree? So what should I do? I mean, obviously we can just... Seems like they just don't have much. So maybe we should just play removal spells. Wow, they surrendered. Okay, so we got a bit lucky there with the Omen of the Seas, Estrid's Invocation play there. Let's try that again. Going second this time, so a lot harder. Alright, I do not like this hand at all. We're going second though. With the Seam Rip, but... Otherwise a great hand if I draw like land. But seems too risky. Okay, so... We have Estrid's Invocation. I think we're gonna get rid of a Momentum Breaker. Nowhere to Run is a much better card against them. So they started with an Esper Sentinel as well. Amped Raptor into a Guide of Soul. Insane. Okay, we're gonna pass like this with these two up. Invasion. Invasion. Let's see. I guess I have to... I'll go with the Felly, I guess. They're gonna get rid of Nowhere to Run here, right? So we need to top deck an enchantment removal. Didn't get there. Maybe I should have actually nowhere to run there. Oh, maybe that was actually a mistake. Maybe I should have nowhere to run, get rid of the Anthraptor so that they can't block. Maybe that's where I made the mistake. I'm just gonna make opponent sacrifice. And hopefully they don't draw... Oh, and hopefully opponent just draws a land, right? Ooh, they just let it go. I'm assuming they're gonna do it now. Actually, that doesn't work. Nowhere to run bypasses it. Yeah, thinking about it, nowhere to run bypasses it. Yeah, the array actually doesn't work. An opponent doesn't seem to know that. Which is good. It's a hidden text on their nowhere to run, so... Okay, insane. Insane. So we're effectively at 9, 8. We might win. We'll see. Yeah, we might still be able to win here. We shall see. Wow. I can't believe we won that one. I think this is a really hard matchup. Alright, so first of all, I actually didn't want to play Historic today, but as you can see, they have a new bug. You cannot change the format, so I just wanted to import one of my old decks and then, change some cards a little bit, but I couldn't do that, so that's why we're seeing Historic today. And by the way, this deck is pretty cool. So we played a deck like this before, but we're trying it again because of a Seam Rip. I didn't really get a chance to try this deck again after the Seam Rip came out during the Edge of Eternities. So we're taking a look at it this time around since, my plan's a little bit messy at the moment because what I wanted to do when the Power Cube comes out was play with new cards in Timeless, but because we didn't get anything, we are playing Historic. So things I liked, I was kind of glad that we actually didn't see a Hopeless Nightmare, honestly. And potentially, playing this card might be a mistake. But I'm not really sure what kind of card that I want to add in place of a Hopeless Nightmare. Like, it could just be another, 2 more copies of Thoughtseize, but I'm not really sure. The fact that this is an enchantment is great. And we already have, 6 copies of 1-mana removal. Of course, if opponent's, not playing too many creatures, Hopeless Nightmare is technically, gonna be better than Seam Rip. Maybe this is there to make the sideboarding a little bit easier. Speaking of a sideboard, we actually kind of got lucky against the Boros Energy today because we top decked the Divine Purge after playing Omen of the Seas into Scry, and it did win me against the Boros Energy, so I think that's kind of a sign we might want another copy of a Divine Purge instead of a Clarion Conqueror. So the Clear and Conquer is there. This is a leftover card when Sorin deck was very popular. And it's also very good against Mono Green Devotion. So maybe a Clear and Conquer can go. But most of the sideboard cards are designated to like Eldrazi. Like we have a Consign, White Orchid Phantom to blow up lands over and over again with Felia. We have Damping Sphere. I think the sideboard's fine. As for the main deck, the Omen of the Seas, I think the 2 copies of Omen of the Seas was perfect. I don't think you want more copies of this. And the Lurker, 2 copies of Lurker seems fine. It's like a top end that, you know, if you draw, it's really good. But if you don't draw, it's fine because it's a pretty expensive card, right? The why it's there is also because it's an enchantment that you can copy with the Estrid's Invocation. So that's why it's there. But it does have some anti-synergy with the Containment Priest, keep in mind. Because it says if a non-token creature would enter, if it wasn't cast, exile it instead. So when you manifest a card, because it's not a token, it's gonna get exiled. But you still get the card out of it when you seek. And you do get a value out of that. And the Impending 3, it doesn't get exiled and then put it onto the battlefield. It just becomes a creature on the battlefield. So that also bypasses Containment Priest restriction. So you don't have to actually worry about that. The anti-synergy with the Lurker in the Deep and the Containment Priest is very, very minor. And obviously, you know, in current metagame, Momentum Breaker it's really good against Aura decks. Same with the Nowhere to Run. This card has a secret text that says creatures your opponent controls can be the target of spells or abilities as though they didn't have hexproof. Also, the war abilities don't trigger, so it's absolutely insane. And a lot of people actually forget that the Nowhere to Run actually has this text. So yeah, that is gonna be it for today's video. I hope they fix this bug because, like, look, I'm clicking it right now. You can't do it, but you can see it through the seam that there is the text standard. So the UI is just stuck beneath it, right? So there's nothing here, as you can see. Click it, standard. So you can't click it. So this basically makes it impossible to switch to Timeless. So yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye.